What's going on? Luke Man here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about how to make your very fine and fancy guitars sound the way that they're supposed to. Alright, because a lot of guitarists, they start out, they go down this journey and they're thinking, man, I need this new guitar. It's finally going to solve all my problems. And then I hear from them and they say something along the lines of, I got all this sweet gear. I still have no idea exactly how to make it sound the way that Slash does, the way that Zakk Wylde does, the way that David Gilmour does, the way that the rest of my heroes do. All right, so that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. So right here we're working with Les Paul Flame Top 59 reissue from 2002, and as you can see, it's got a nice flame. Listen to it sustain for a moment, and you can tell right away I just got a little clean sound going. This is a clean sound that's coming from a Mod 102 amplifier, which is, oh, look at that, listen to that. So it's a Mod 102 amplifier. It was a build-it-yourself kit that I did with a friend of mine, and it runs about, it's a bit of a cheaper amp, but it's a tube amp nonetheless. So that's the big thing, right, is we need to have a proper tube amp, you know, to sound this way. But what you could do right off the bat, I really like this tone when, if we have the volume all the way up on this rhythm pickup here, but we bring the tone all the way down, and we get that muddy sound. All right, you might not know it, but this is the essence of the Slash tone right here. That doesn't sound like Slash. Well, it's because there's no distortion. Alright, so what I have for distortion is a Friedman BEOD boost pedal. What I like to do is I throw down some gain on it. I pretty much just like to tweak pedals until my ear says, oh my god, that sounds fantastic. Alright, so that's what I got going. I got my BEOD on right now. Perfect. So that's how you do a sick run on your Les Paul with some nice Slash tone. Obviously, I was kind of even trying to do a little Slash stuff. What would Slash do? He would use these scales, of course. He loves to do stuff like that. In fact, I was working with a different run of his recently. He goes, alright, so some more Slash licks. What he does is he likes to use this scale a lot. He likes to start from the top of the neck and move down to the bottom of the neck. That's something that he's really into, and it's something that attracted me about his playing when I was a young kid starting out looking to learn how to play some righteous Slash licks, right? So that's one way to play fantastic sounding stuff on your fantastic guitar, is you can use this scale. Yeah, so you can play any of those licks on your Les Paul. Obviously, it'll be a great way to sound fantastic on your Les Paul. Let's talk about some other style players, right? So we have, what about David Gilmour? He doesn't play Les Paul much, but you know he's got some sweet sounding licks. Or what about, who's another Les Paul player? You can comment below. I really don't care about the comments, but you can do it. You can do it. You can say, what about whoever played guitar in Alice Cooper? That guy. This is a great way to make your Les Paul sound amazing. Again, I got my gain up, nice and killer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a killer riff. That's an awesome way. Whenever you're in doubt, you're not sure, how can I make this Les Paul sound amazing? Just play a killer riff. Make sure to play it with perfect feel, timing, tone, these sort of things. Alright, so that's a perfect riff. You can play that. That will always, of course, make your Les Paul sound killer. What's another riff that you can do? You know, I think I was actually working on some cool riffs earlier. Well, you know what? So that's a Alice Cooper riff, right? And as you noticed, I was bobbing my head to the rhythm because, you know, when you're playing absolutely phenomenal riffs on your wonderful Les Paul and you have the right tone to make it sound awesome and you have the right feel, it's gonna sound killer, right? But also you gotta keep in mind, you know, what would Zakk Wylde do? Well, he would, of course, have a lot of gain, tons of gain. He would tune down a lot, right? So that's where we're already at. Nice and tuned down here in the drop D syndrome. And then he would play something that speaks from the heart. That's really important. He would say something along the lines of, Alright, so that's another way you can make your Les Paul sound fantastic. Of course, you need to know the right scales, and you have to have the perfect feel for that solo. But you just implement the steps to get that down, and it's game over. It's game over from there, right? So, what's another thing you can do? Well, you can play an E chord. All right. Where a lot of people tend to fumble is once they play the E chord, they don't know, like, okay, so how many different modes, how many different sounds can I acquire over E? And I can think of a bunch right off the bat. So if I just play an E, an open E, what do you want me to sound like? I mean, comment below. I'll probably never see it, but comment down below. I'm just joking, by the way. If you have a comment, you want to tell me, Luke, you're not being descriptive enough on these videos, or if you just want to say, Luke, your bun looks totally messy, you can go ahead and tell me that, of course. I'll always reply and tell you that you're wrong. My bun looks fantastic. Alright, so yeah, if you wanted me to sound sad, boom, you got it right. Excellent, great job. So if you wanted me to sound really happy bluesy right there, keep in mind all of this is still over E. So as I said, if you want to make your nice fancy guitar sound fantastic, here's what you could do. You play the E, but then know all the different things you can do over an E, so that when you're playing your rock band and you hear an E chord, oh, you know what else I could do? That's what Pink Floyd did, right? They went... Great stuff right there. I mean, that's another thing you can do, is you can play a Pink Floyd song and then nail the solo. That's a great way to sound awesome on your Les Paul. So just... that's a great way. So, right, we were still talking about E and all the different things you can play over E. So if we have, for instance, I don't know if you can catch that, if you understand that I'm literally playing the same chord, and over the same chord, I'm just changing up a couple of these things, and it sounds phenomenally different, right? So it's okay. So yeah, that's another way. And let's think about what's one more. Oh, of course, we could do this kind. We can make it sound ethereal. So you can do that. That would be a great way to, make it sound really ethereal and similar to superhero stuff. And just keep in mind, like, this is all over one chord. Could you imagine if you know how to do this all over every chord, over every spectrum of the chord? So that's just with the Les Paul too. We're not even talking about a Strat. But if we had a Strat in hand, which I suppose I could grab that one, then we can play some Jimi Hendrix stuff. What would Jimi Hendrix do? He'd go. That's pretty tough. Of course, Jimi Hendrix would do that, and if you notice, I didn't know the exact Jimi Hendrix solo right there, but I pretty much just stick to the exact principles that I was going over earlier, where it's like, if you know exactly what you can do over one chord, you can kind of mix in all these flavors that you think sound like Jimi Hendrix over, knowing the certain system. So like, oh, okay, what is Jimi Hendrix doing when he goes into a solo like that? How does it work in this key? How can I move it around in that key? So that ultimately you can use those flavors that you love about Jimi Hendrix over whatever you want, whether it's something in your own music or you're just improvising a jam off the cuff with some of your boys. Either way, you're going to be able to know exactly how to play over that. So if you thought some of these riffs sounded pretty cool, and I know I just kind of went over the surface level stuff right here, and I'm sure you're starting to see, man, this is the tip of the iceberg. If I knew some more about these concepts, about this feel, this tone, how you can make your actual own Les Paul sound like this stuff with a couple of easy, very implementable steps. As long as you're consistent, as long as you execute properly, as long as you execute under the right guidance, you can get there super easy. So if right now you're saying, oh man, that sounds pretty cool actually, I would like to make my Les Paul sound awesome. Well, I actually have a cool offer for you. Only if you are the type of person who wants to actually implement this stuff into your life. If you're the type of person who's sitting there going, maybe I could get like a couple of free tips here and there and then bounce out, this call isn't for you. But if you're the type of person who's in it for the long run, who actually cares about your guitar playing, actually wants to get to the next level, then I have a cool opportunity for you. What you can do is click that link below. On that link, you're going to fill out an application. You're going to book the exact date and time that you can speak with me personally, not a bot, but me personally. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a really close look at your situation on the guitar. We're going to work hand in hand, check out where you're at, where you want to go, and put together a system to actually get you to the spot that we're talking about right now, where you can pick up the guitar. You can have your buddies play a song, whether it's an Ozzy song or a Guns N' Roses song, whatever the song, and you can say, hey, I know exactly what to play over that. You can play the stuff that you hear in your head. Wouldn't that be satisfying? All right, so possibly speak to you very, very soon. If not, no problem. I would hate to waste your time. Definitely don't want to waste my time. Talk soon.